Good morning, guys. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Monday, October the 14th, 2024, and it is the morning after a very interesting 24 hours. Of course, I'm referring to the fight yesterday after Beterbiev getting the majority decision over Bivol, and it was just really interesting. Yesterday, if you saw the video, it was pretty much straight after the fight. So so the emotions are still running high, and it's quite fresh. Hadn't really had a chance to really see what everyone else thought. I saw a little bit of the Pro Box watch along that they were doing. The last probably, I watched about 5 or 6, 7 minutes of it, whatever it was, and it was just interesting. First of all, Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri were very much in agreement with what I was saying, so I thought, all right, well, I'm on the right track, and of course did the video after that. But it was interesting to see a lot of the feedback throughout the day, whether it be on boxing social media pages, YouTube pages or channels, just forums, all that sort of stuff. I didn't spend all day doing it, by the way. It was too nice of a Sunday to be stuck in front of the computer just looking for other people's opinions, but just during the course of the day. And you might jump on Instagram or have a look through YouTube, whatever it might be. But anyway, it was interesting to see the difference in opinion in the fight. Now, there was a lot of people that 100% agree with me that Bivol won the fight comfortably. There were others that thought we were full of shit and it was Beterbiev who won the fight comfortably. Then you had the ones in between that said, look, it was close, can't really decide a winner, whatever, the right man won. And then, of course, you get the peanuts who think others don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're right. They're the boxing fans I probably don't like. I like to, and this is what was good actually on my YouTube page yesterday, we had there's about 25 comments or something on there, maybe a few more, I can't remember, about 25 comments on my walking boxing video yesterday. And while a lot of people disagreed, it was actually good to see, well, I can see what you're saying, but I disagree because, not you're a dickhead and you don't know what you're talking about and get off YouTube. That's what I don't like. So it's actually good to have constructive, well, not conversations, but comments with other boxing fans, because as I said, those boxing fans that get on there and just tell you you're full of shit and have no idea what you're talking about, well, not really interested in them. It's good just to have people say, yeah, well, I thought Beterbiev won because of this, or I agree with you because of this. Now, a lot of people refer to the CompuBox stats and all that sort of stuff. I know they're sort of important. A lot of people rely on them, but that's what they are. They're just stats. And I know sometimes they can tell the story, but when you think about it, look, there might be a 12-round fight where a particular fighter's won the punch count by 30 or 40 punches, and that's like, yeah, see, I told you so. But the problem is those 30 punches might have been over 3 rounds, and all of a sudden he might have lost 8 of the 12, but he's actually in front by the punching stats. So that's why I don't really take much notice of them. And I see the same with the football shows and all that sort of stuff. It's stat after stat after stat. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can see with your own eyes sometimes exactly what's happening. But look, I did have another look at the fight, by the way, and it was a little bit closer than what I thought. I probably, when I was watching it, it was always a little bit hard when you're watching it on a watch along, because you're talking with people and you're probably not as well concentrating as much. But look, I was pretty adamant, and I still am adamant, by the way, in my opinion, Bivol won that fight. But I did say yes, I think I had it 9-3, and obviously I probably wasn't paying enough attention to really have a look at what Bivol was doing in close. It was just sort of more that skimming the surface type of look at the fight, I suppose. But having another look at it, I still had Bivol winning 7 of the 12 rounds. Look, I think Beterbiev, for the most part, for me, even though in the end I think he threw more punches than Bivol, I just thought they were ineffective punches. They were sort of like pushing punches. They weren't solid punches, if you know what I mean. Like, they weren't like, he wasn't throwing them out, he was sort of poking them out. It's almost like rangefinders for a lot of the punches, I think. And I didn't think he threw as many power punches that they said he did. I just thought he was very selective. I thought he looked frustrated throughout the fight. However, the big, I suppose the big factor in this is what a lot of people are putting their arguments on is that the fact that he was the aggressor and he was chasing Bivol down. I didn't see it that way. I just thought he boxed really, really well. Bivol, maybe in hindsight, maybe he wouldn't have got on his bike as much as he did, although I still didn't really see it that way, but I know that's probably how it looked to a lot of people, and particularly the judges. And it reminded me a little bit of, if you can remember back with Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad, had a lot of success early, but then backed up a lot for the remainder of the fight. Trinidad really just kept coming forward and stole the last few rounds and ended up winning the fight. And I still think to this day, by the way, De La Hoya won that fight. But anyway, I'm sure that it's a very similar type of fight. It really is. And if you do think Trinidad won, peace, don't stress. I respect your decision. But in this fight, look, as I said, I just thought Bivol, I thought he was the more effective puncher. I thought in a lot of the exchanges, he actually got the better of a lot of those exchanges, in my opinion. I thought he just boxed really well. I don't think he ran at all. I think he used angles. I thought he used effective footwork. And I just thought he fought the type of fight that I thought he needed to fight to win. And he fought that way perfectly, just in my opinion. And look, no disrespect to Beterbiev, by the way. Like he as a champion, he kept coming forward. 39 years of age, remember, but he kept coming forward. He kept trying to implement whatever plan that he had. I just don't think it was overly effective. And again, it wasn't as one-sided as I thought it might have been, but I still think Dimitri Bivol won this fight. And look, I suppose the obvious solution to it all was to simply have a rematch. And by all accounts, Turki Al Sheikh has got the ball rolling already on that. Has been a lot of talk about what Beterbiev will do, but I think it's pretty obvious that what will happen is that Turki Al Sheikh will make him an offer he can't refuse. And remember, he actually had Bivol winning the fight. I think it might have been by 2 rounds as well. So if that's the case, you would probably think that he's going to get the fight done. He will offer Beterbiev an excellent purse, and it will probably get done probably in sort of April, May, June next year. But it was interesting also to see Eddie Hearn afterwards. He was filthy, Eddie Hearn. It's been a bad year for Eddie. I think we can give him a little bit of a break. It's been a shocking year for him. He lost the 5x5. He's lost so many big fights. And don't forget, he's still got Katie Taylor to come over Amanda Serrano. If Katie Taylor doesn't beat Serrano, I reckon he might go out the front and jump off the front of the building. Eddie, he's just had a really rough year. Not a lot of success. A lot of his main fighters have been beaten. And you know, it would just be the ultimate doubleheader, wouldn't it? Not so much Bivol, but his main man Joshua was knocked out. If Katie Taylor loses, as I said, that could just be curtains for Eddie. We have those years. Look, I love Eddie Hearn. I think he's fantastic. Did he go a little bit overboard? Yes, probably a little bit, but he's an emotional guy. I thought he actually spoke well, just probably just with a little bit more emotion than what he usually does. But you got to give him a bit of a break in the circumstances. But I was really impressed by both guys at the weigh-in. I thought they both spoke really well. Dimitri Bivol would not accept any excuses. He refused to lay into the judges. He just accepted it and said sometimes it just doesn't go your way, or roundabouts, that's what he said, and he let everyone else do the talking for him. So I was really impressed with him, and of course Artur Beterbiev, all class as well. Said he didn't really fight his best fight, but still obviously got the win. What was interesting to me, and this is why I'm still sticking to my verdict on the fight, is that you look at the body language after the final bell. Dimitri Bivol looked very confident, very satisfied with his performance. Beterbiev and his team, more importantly, did not look happy at all. Now that just might be the Russian way. They don't get too excited, the Russians, and show their emotions, but they did say after the 10th round that he needed a knockout to win. Now I thought he won the 11th round. I thought Bivol won the 12th. So that's why, again, I'm sort of sticking to my verdict on the fight. But anyway, again, I respect everyone's point of view on it. A lot of people see it differently. A lot of, whether it be fans, judges, the team members of the particular fighters, they all see it differently because they tend to watch their guy. But I just, a lot of people also look at the aggression shown compared to the boxing skills, and that's why so many opinions differ. But end of the day, what a fantastic fight for boxing, and the fact that we're all still talking about it after the fight. We all look forward to a rematch, and what's good about it is we're all probably pretty positive about the whole event. We're going to have our differences on who won, but overall it's been mainly positive, apart from the odd peanut or two. It hasn't been too bad. So the good news is it ended up being a huge success, and if you're a Beterbiev fan, then the right man won. But on to the rest of the card, and I did see that Fraser Clark has got a broken jaw. That was a nasty one, wasn't it? We saw the dent in the head. Apparently he's had an operation, so he's going to be out for some time. He'll be back. It was one of those ones where you just get caught cold. He'll be okay. I'm sure he'll be back on the scene in probably another 12 months. I'll give him to come back, and I'm sure he'll be okay. He just got caught, and that happens. As for Wardley, well, he's got plenty of fights on the horizon. There's talk that he might fight Johnny Fisher next. I'm pretty sure he could maybe even go a little bit further than that. Maybe Turkey LL Sheik will step him up a little bit and maybe fight someone. Maybe it's the one of the winners on maybe one of the cards coming up. There's a few heavyweights on there, so but that was good. The Chris Eubank and Conor Benn circus. Geez, I said yesterday we have a new king of the boxing wankers, and Conor Benn. I'm not going to spend too much time with him. I had my say yesterday, but this guy, fair dinkum. But the fight itself, there was word after the fight that it may happen in May. Now that's really interesting because that is, of course, the month where Canelo Alvarez will be looking for another opponent, and there was no real talk afterwards about Eubank fighting Canelo. Canelo's camp apparently, well, if you can believe the people out there that talk about boxing, say that that fight was being talked about for the May Cinco de Mayo date. But we all know the Canelo and Turkey LL Sheik situation, so maybe Turkey LL Sheik will say to Chris Eubank, all right, if you want me to get behind you and invest in you, forget about that guy. You're going to fight Conor Benn in May, because there's now, was that the 5x5 they're talking about? That wouldn't be it, would it? Because Eubank's not with either of those guys, and of course I don't think Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren are going to allow Chris Eubank on their cards, but so it mustn't be for that. But anyway, he was talking May. The other 5x5, I think they were talking about maybe April, whatever it was anyway, but there will be another 5x5 between Warren and Hearn. Not sure Hearn will want to go back for seconds after what happened to him in the first one, but again, it's great for boxing. The one that interests me a little bit is the Skye Nicolson and Raven Chapman fight, because I did watch the fight. I did see the last sort of round or two yesterday, but watching the full fight, the feedback was scathing about Skye. And look, she has got her fans as well, don't get me wrong, but the majority, the minority of fans say how well she boxed, and she's a great tactician, and I fully agree with that. I think she is a super talent, a very, very good fighter, and I think she's going to be one of the faces of women's boxing for quite some time. I'm really impressed with her because I like boxing. I don't care whether you're exciting or you're dull. I like the technical part of it, and I like the fact that the hit and not get hit style, and I think it's great. I think she does that perfectly. The problem is that I'm in the minority as far as that goes. The casual fans out there, or even some of the hardcore fans, the feedback on her yesterday was really scathing, and she copped a lot on social media. I'm not sure what she reads. A lot of them do. So, but saying that she's bad for women's boxing, that she's setting the females back because of the way she fights. She's not exciting, which means that she probably won't be on Riyadh cards going forward. By all accounts, Turkey LL Sheik wasn't impressed that the fans were not happy with the fight. He's very much about the fans, he's Turkey LL Sheik, so that's and a lot of people also saying that it wasn't the right female fight to put on a Riyadh card if they're looking to get them on in the future, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, they're always, again, the boxing peanuts, we'll call them. They just get stuck into fighters like Skye just because they don't like women's boxing. But while I tend to, as I said, welcome her, what she brings to the sport, Yeah, I just think she maybe does have to tweak a few things and just let the hands go a little bit more sometimes, because the hit and not get hit style is sort of great for her to keep winning, but it's not going to get her on these big cards. It's probably not going to appeal to someone like Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano at her age is not going to want to chase Skye around the ring for 10 rounds, so it might be 12 rounds if they do fight, because that's what she wants. Amanda Serrano, she's obviously got to get past Katie Taylor as well. So anyway, I thought it was a little bit harsh on Skye, but I do understand that these fans pay the money for these pay-per-views. Sometimes it's hard enough with these Riyadh cards when you've got so much gap in between the fights. You've got to sit through 10 rounds of that as well. But at the end of the day, all that aside, the fact that she got the win, Raven Chapman, I didn't like her style at all. Just like a lot of them, they all tend to fight Skye the same way, and no one's really come up with just maybe sitting down and go, you know what, as they scratch their heads, you know what might work? Actually putting a lot of pressure on her and cutting off the ring and roughing her up. Maybe following her around the ring for 10 rounds might not get us the win. This is these so-called, best trainers in the sport that are out there, and I haven't seen any of them even attempt to really get in Skye's face and rough her up. I just don't understand it. I understand Skye's a very, very good fighter, don't get me wrong, but surely one of those elite trainers out there, or so they say, would have a game style that at least attempts to cut the ring off. Haven't seen any of them do it. They literally follow her around the ring for 10 rounds, lose a wide decision, and then complain about her tactics. Anyway, that's up to them, and as they say, as Skye says herself, to solve the Skye Nicolson puzzle, you've got to do better than that than just follow her around the ring and hope that she slows down, because she's not. So anyway, so that was the card. One more thing before I go. Great to see Tszyu on the plane with Glenn Jennings on the way to Orlando, Florida. I was a little bit bemused though, and I'm not sure whether they would be the same though, in that he was on the plane, well, I think according to Glenn, they were up and about at 3 a.m. in the morning to catch the flight. Now, I don't know whether this was by design and whether they wanted to get there nice and early. Remember, it's a 6-hour flight. They probably have a stopover on the way. So it's probably going to end up being a 7 or 8 hour exercise. Good to see they were in business class. That was great. But yeah, I know the flights at that time of the morning are super cheap, but surely the promoters would splurge on getting him there at a half, or out of bed and there in a half decent time. It's only a few hundred bucks to get maybe a 10 a.m. flight in the morning compared to probably a 5 o'clock flight. Anyway, as I said, maybe Tim and his team requested an early flight so they could get there nice and early and maybe have a training session in the afternoon or something. I don't know, but all that aside, I'm only joking. It was great to actually see him on the plane on the way to Orlando, Florida. And just quickly on that, we will be doing a preview of that fight and going over a few other bits and pieces on Thursday night. I'm hoping to have a couple of guests on the show as well, on the deep dive show, we'll call it, and discuss probably the events of the weekend past, plus of course the Tszyu preview. So guys, that is it for this Monday. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.